Hey everybody, this is Grace. Pardon me the way I'm doing my videos, but it is what it is. Um, in this video, I want to talk about discard. When, let's say, a toxic person, and narcissistic person is what people call it. Put everything under these days. Narcissistic person, toxic person. When that person discards you. Now, I mentioned this in at least, I think, 2 other videos, and I don't know which order I'll put them in as it is. But it's when they decide, not you to leave, but they decide to either make you leave or leave you. They just basically toss you aside, toss you out, like if the relationship was nothing. And I know a lot of people have experienced this. People who are out there looking for information on narcissistic abuse, some abuse, being discarded like that. Some call it discard, some don't. Now, mine is not a channel. I don't give any advice or counseling, any of that. I just give my view on it. I've been through a lot of the things that I talk about. I have many, many videos about this kind of thing. I've had a lifetime of it. I just recently turned 57 years old. And so mine, and just more of my experiences and my opinions, and I could be wrong. And no 2 situations are alike anyway for anybody, because no 2 people are the same, and no 2 situations are going to be the same. So anybody trying to give you a blanket answer, what you do, how do you feel? No, that just can't happen. And we have to remember, these people can be dangerous. So anyway, I want to talk about the discard. Okay, I've done a video about how they want to keep you dependent on them. Say it's your husband, and you 2 are in a marriage, and of course, if he's your husband, you're in a marriage. And so you do have children, or you don't have children. But this now, I've been a homemaker on and off for many years, so I'm going to speak as a homemaker. Say that the husband wants you to be a homemaker, raise the kids, stay at home. You make that decision together. You're not forced into it. Some people are forced. Some women have been forced into it. Some men too. But being demanding and all, to be the homemaker, and that way they can keep you dependent on them, especially as time goes by, and you having to say you are degreed, and you worked in your field. That's where you met them, and all that. As time goes by, what you learn, like your degree, changes. I think we all know how quickly things are changing these days. And people around my age, they're out there learning a new field, learning new things just to get a job. Well, these days with the pandemic, it's difficult, much more difficult for people. But anyway, whatever kind of relationship that person was with, I remember when I was young, there was something at the university for any woman, I don't know, it could be men too, but I think it was for women who were 35 years old or older, and they were called displaced homemakers. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was 20-something years ago, 22. Displaced homemakers. And there was something that the universities did for them. I don't know what it was. I wasn't a displaced homemaker. But I remember briefly seeing something about it, or reading something about it. And they helped them, it was one of the universities. I don't know if it was at other ones, but I attended several. I moved around a lot back then. But when I got my degrees, I moved around a lot. Yeah. When I was that age, yeah, before that age. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. But there are things that help people, but anyway. Okay, and I just made another video, and it was about when, you're in a relationship like that, and that person is faking it. You're in a marriage, say, with or without kids. You're in a marriage long term, and that person has been faking it all along. That person is really seeing you instead as basically staff for them. Personal secretary, a maid, service, whatever. That's how they really see it in their mind, but they kind of let you think how you want to think about it. They're conning you. That's just the way they keep it. And more and more, they make it to where you are dependent on them. And that's a big ego boost for some of these people. So, anyway, I mentioned that new. Make sure you have your backup plan, your plan B. Well, watch the whole video, because that's just too much to go back through again. But, let me see, I'm looking at my notes. Okay, yeah, I think I've basically have said things that I said in that video. But when they do this is the part I wanted to get to, so watch that video. I'll try to link it in the end of the video, in a little pop-up, the rectangular pop-up. But one of the things that they want to do, this is where I was getting, was when whenever you do decide, or they decide, to end the relationship, say, you've been together, you've been married for years, the relationship's, grown, you thought, and then their true colors come out because they find somebody else. Let's say that. The person finds better, and this other person they can use, or that they just think that you're just worn out, and, because they've worn you out, their energy. Some call them energy vampires, I call them soul destroyers, and, yeah. So, or they just found a new shiny coin. I don't like that expression, because nobody's a new shiny coin, okay? So, but you get the gist. And they decided just to discard you. And they're not just going to just discard you and say, I'm out of here in the relationship. Some of these are so bad that they want it to burn. Okay, they want it to really, really hurt you when they discard you. They want to make you think that you are not worth anything. That you were dumb, stupid. You may have heard that all the relationship. It just depends on how long it was going on like that. But when they discard, they want to make it burn and hurt you as bad as possible. So, and part of that was really making you so dependent on them. Whenever you do leave them, you're going to have a really tough time. If you have kids together and you have to fight for custody, how are you going to? Because you're not going to have your own money. There are laws and things that go around that. It just depends on where you live, and I'm not an expert on that. I'm not a lawyer, that's for certain. But yeah, they want it to burn, and they want it to, it's kind of like what would be the, just their exit, their big dramatic exit. And I see the ones I've seen, people I've known, they're, I've said this in pretty much every video, they're like a narcissistic histrionic blend. I don't know anybody who's been diagnosed with either personality disorder, but their behaviors are that way. And this type, they really want it to, they really want that drama and to hurt you so bad, but you've done nothing to them. Let's say you're not a perfect person, but they're the ones doing it to you. But they're also the ones that love to play the victim. It's for the world to see. But so they're going to make it burn. Okay, and as I said, I'm not here to give anybody advice, but I am going to state my opinion on this. When they do that, and I know a lot of people, they want to go for revenge. They want revenge so bad. I've felt it myself before. When somebody has treated me wrong, really bad, yeah. But one thing I've told myself since I was very young, I told myself, don't become what you hate. And that kind of person that is, for one, any kind of, that kind of person in a way, they feel like they're getting revenge for something you didn't do. Okay, I think these are more along the line of like psychopath, sociopath. But the hatred but they want you to burn, and they really think that it's you that's doing it, so they want revenge for something you didn't do. It's projection at its worst. How people say at its finest. I've always wondered why people say at its finest. But you get the gist. I understand why people say that, but yeah. So that's what they're going to do. Are you going to become what you hate? Are you going to act just like them? That in a way is like, I agree with this. That when you When you know you're over that person and you're able to move on is when you don't feel anything. You feel indifference. You don't feel a need for revenge. You don't feel a need to sit there and cry and want them back. None of that. You feel apathy. That is the opposite of love. It's the opposite of hate. Apathy. Indifference. And I truly agree with that. That's when you can move on and go on with your life. And I wouldn't think that way about every person, but go on with your life, go to counseling, get yourself, somebody's behind me, sorry, but get yourself some counseling and to learn how to move on. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I thought I would make a short video. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.